So Mike, what are your predictions for real estate in 2024? Like, what are your thoughts for a newbie like me who's thinking about getting into real estate investing, and what should I know about the upcoming year?
I think it's going to be a great year for new investors and even some of the people who don't have a lot of properties that they're still holding on to and they're trying to sell. There's a whole group of people who have inventory that they're just not flipping, they're not selling. Newbies coming into this, there is no better time to be into real estate investing. There's more deals coming on. We see more and more foreclosures. The debt is overwhelming to some people, so they're just giving up their properties. That's what we see in 2024. Not like 20 or 30%, but maybe even 5 or 10% more homes available for investors. The other side of that is we are seeing more and more investors leave this community. So less investors, more properties means there's going to be better deals for the people who are sticking around.
Okay, so as more investors leave, that means there's more opportunity for newbies like me, but part of me feels skeptical, right? Like, so if they're leaving, what makes me think I can go in and take over the reins and take over where they left off? Why should I jump in? Why should newbies look at, becoming real estate investors?
Number one, I think in the first time in a long time, there are better deals, meaning there are better margins on deals. There's more meat on the bone, let's say, for the properties that are coming up. So you're going to find deals that are in 70 or 65% LTVs. Or just a couple of years ago, we saw people buying at 80 and 85% LTVs. That means there was less available for profits, for them to make money. So as a newbie, I'm not going to say there's less risk, because there's always risk, but there's going to be more opportunities for you to succeed than there probably was even 2 years ago. Because when there's too many people bidding on few properties, people get a little crazy, a little overzealous, and start bidding up properties and making them less profitable for anybody. They typically lose money. So you want some of those people to leave. You want some of the people who don't understand what they're doing, who probably made some bad choices and got stuck with some properties. Like real estate investing is like anything else. Not everyone was successful every time. A lot of people are, and a lot of people make a lot of money. In this environment, what we're seeing, since there's going to be less people and the people who are probably going to stick around are the people who know what they're doing, the competition is just going to be better for you as a new investor to find good deals. Now, probably the biggest hurdle you're going to face is finding money. For the last 10 years, all the real estate investors coming in, there was big pools of money and they're just throwing money at you, and rates kept going down, all these things. It's going to take a little bit more for you to prepare to be ready for this than it has in the past. And that's another good thing, because it's another barrier of entry that is required to get into this. So if you're a new investor and you can get into this, this is where you're going to create the wealth you want, the income you want in real estate, in the markets that you're supposed to be buying. You're supposed to be buying when everyone else is leaving.
Makes sense, right? It's better to be a big or medium-sized fish in a smaller pond than it is to this giant pond. It reminds me of when my wife and I were trying to buy a house a couple of years ago. We never ended up doing that because every house we put an offer on, someone ended up getting it that like went 100 over asking or something outrageous like that. And that sounds very similar with investors, right?
Yep.
People can just, when there's a lot of people, it's way harder. And so this way, we might have to do more work on the front end, make sure we have the money, which is going to be harder than it would have been. But it's going to be easier if you do your homework to actually land the deals, is what I'm hearing.
If you're prepared, there's going to be more deals. They're going to be more profitable deals in this kind of market than in a market where everyone is allowed to get in and invest and try to buy properties. Because it's like you said, it's no different than you buying as a homeowner. Everyone's driving up the price. Less people bidding on properties. There's going to be properties available for the people who are ready. And it reminds me of like 2010 when a lot of people were still skeptical, scared. And we helped 4 or 5 families buy like 10 properties at a time. And then you look at what they did over the last 13, 14 years now. They have created from those properties, they've basically retired just by buying 10 properties when everyone else was running away or too scared to get back in. So you have to be able to jump in when other people are getting out. And you have to have a little bit of confidence that that's always how markets worked. Because you're going to hear the fear in the streets and you hear people wanting to get out. And that's when you want to buy. You want to start buying when people are fearful and running and getting out. And that creates uneasiness, but that's what it is. We've been doing this almost 24 years now. That's where we see the biggest jumps that people take is in years like this.